Hey friend, welcome to On the Daily. I'm your host, Danielle McCleary, and I am a quantum business coach. I'm the host of this podcast. I'm a multi-six-figure entrepreneur, co-founder and president of HypeU Media, and CEO of Danielle on the Daily Coaching. What I'm really interested in is helping you live a life and have a business that is a full body yes. So through all of my education and all of my experience, I'm bringing you 2 episodes a week where I will guide you and give you the tools necessary to scale a massive, sustainable, and sexy business using your intuition, wealth energetics, and human design. What we can call it is business biohacking. So if you're down for that, then I say let's frickin' go. I'm so glad you're here. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the show. Happy Tuesday. This week is nuts. We are officially closing on our home. It's finally happening. This Friday, we are closing on our home. And for those of you who are new to the show, we have been building a custom home here in Austin, Texas for the last year and change. Almost 15 months, and it was going to be done in October, then it was going to be done in November, then December. Now we are officially closing this Friday, January 27th, and it just feels like such a crazy cacophony of emotions. That was probably the biggest word I've ever used on this show. I have so many emotions. I have so many feelings. There have been so many times over the last year where I was just like, I don't even know if this is going to happen. How's this going to happen? So many things up in the air, and I've learned so many lessons. And so today I really wanted to take an opportunity to share some of those lessons with you, because I think that they absolutely pertain to building a business. And even just like investing in yourself. I think that there's a lot of lessons I've learned, and I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited to share them with you. So let's not waste any time. Let's dive in. Before we go into all of that, I have a masterclass that is happening tomorrow, and it is called Money Vibe, the masterclass, which is a masterclass that we've launched before, and we are relaunching it. Reason for that is because I've learned a lot, and it's going to have to do a lot with what I'm going to tell you in this episode today, but I've learned a lot. There's been a lot of lessons that have happened and a lot of things that have shifted in my life. And I think that wealth energetics and the energy of money is something that I am so passionate about. And I think it's also something that not a lot of people understand. I wonder, if you're someone who has a dicey relationship with money, I asked my Instagram the other day, what's your relationship with money? And out of like the 75 or 80 responses that I got, not one person said something positive about their money relationship and their relationship with wealth. Everybody said something like, it's not great. Somebody literally said, it's the worst part of my life. Rocky, I don't like talking about it. Like, there were just so many answers that I was like, wow, we are really not taught how to have a good relationship with our finances and a good relationship with wealth. And I think there's so many people out there that are just so convinced that money doesn't grow on trees, and that, if you want something, you got to be willing to work really, really hard for it. And money is just not going to be easy to come by. And I can honestly tell you that there are parts of that that's true. You do have to work hard. I do not believe that in order to make a lot of money, your work has to drain you. I think there's a difference between hard work and working hard. And I also have come to realize that there is an energetics when it comes to wealth that we can't ignore, even though everything external and outside of ourselves will tell us that we do need to ignore it. I don't believe that we should. And that's what I'm going to teach you in this masterclass. So the Reckoning is still happening, which is my program about coming home to yourself. That starts next week, February 1st. That will be a multi-day program. This Money Vibe masterclass is one masterclass. It's about an hour, and we're going to talk about your relationship with money. I'm going to teach you how to improve it. I'm going to teach you how to talk better about money. I'm going to teach you how to call in higher levels of wealth from an energetic perspective, backed by strategy. I'm going to talk about all of it. So if money is your goal for the year and it's something that you in the past have not had a great relationship with, this is your sign to jump into this masterclass. It is only $111 until it goes live. Once it's live and it's evergreen, that price will go up to $199. So now's your chance to get it for a lower cost. And I really suggest that you jump in, because how many years are you going to stay stuck in the loop that you're stuck in with money, where, a lot of people, they'll make money, they'll get scared, they'll spend all their money, they'll be broke. And then that's a vicious cycle that they follow, or people that are always waiting for the other shoe to fall. It doesn't have to be like that. And this masterclass is going to help you through that once and for all, so you can truly start to make the money that you want to make. So click the link in our bio, or come visit me on Instagram, Danielle_on_the_daily. You can slide into my DMs. I can give you the link, or you can go to daniellemccleary.com/courses, and you'll find that course as well as everything else that I offer as well. So enjoy, and I hope to see you inside. Lessons that I've learned over the last year of building a house. Here we go. So if for those of you that have built a house, you'll understand my pain and you'll understand what I'm saying. Though nobody that's ever bought a house, even if you've built a house, you can kind of relate to this. Or if you've just bought a house, you can relate to this. But when you build a home, you are expected to give 3% down. So your 3% earnest money, they call it. So it's 3% of the purchase price of the home, plus 25, usually it's about 25% of your design fee. So what we did is we put down 3% of our purchase price, and then we went to the design meeting and we added all the upgrades, and we added so many things to our house. Like we upgraded, media rooms to bedrooms. We upgraded insulation. We upgraded our roof. We upgraded the doors and the back doors, and we upgraded the flooring, the cabinets, the countertops. Like everything was pretty much upgraded, and we added about $150,000 to the purchase price in our design meeting. And so you have to give 25% of that. So last October, or I guess the beginning of November, I paid over $40,000 for this home. Now, when you're building, here's what happens. You do that, and then nothing happens for a long time, because they have to start to build the house. And you don't do any of the underwriting, which I've really come to realize that underwriting is just a fancy word for we're going to violate everything about your personal life, and we're going to go through all of it. That's really what underwriting is. So felt very violating. I've told Breezy many times, I've never felt more wealthy and more broke at the exact same moment as I have when working with a lender and doing an underwriting process, because they literally go through everything, every bank statement, every spending, every incoming paycheck. Like they've looked at everything, and it just feels very violating. And I'm just not a fan. Lenders out there, I don't know how you do your job. I'm grateful for you, and I don't know how you do your job. But anyway, beginning of the process, you pay the money, and then nothing happens. And nothing happens until about, 3 months before close. So this whole time I gave this money, and you give this money, and anything could happen. And obviously last October, November was a really weird time. Like the economy was going down, interest rates were going up. Everybody was scared to death that we were headed for another housing crash. There was just so many things up in the air, and every single person was like, now's not the time to buy a house. The interest rates are high. It's not a good time to buy. And I did it anyway, because I just felt my intuition. We knew that this was the moment and we needed to jump. And, there were a lot of real estate investment reasons why we did it. Our house is already appraised over $200,000 more than we bought it for, and we aren't even in yet. So there were a lot of really positive benefits to us doing that. And it's very scary, because if something happens, right? Anything could have happened. And if anything happens, you don't get your money back. That deposit is gone. So you are potentially investing over $40,000 into something that you may not get back. And that is really scary. And there's been a lot of times over the last year where I have wondered, is this going to happen? I don't know if this is going to happen. I have no idea how I'm going to have that much money in my account between now and then. And a year ago, my life looked so different than it does now. I was making far less money than I'm making now. And there were moments that I was really questioning whether or not it was going to end up happening. And here's what I've learned. When you invest into something, so this could be into a coach, this could be into your healing, this could be into your business and hiring out, outsourcing, whatever. There's going to be a period of time where you will not see a return on investment. It is not going to return to you as quickly as it went out. And that is terrifying. That's terrifying for a lot of reasons, but it's mostly terrifying because the thought of money going out without it coming immediately back to you makes your foundation shake. It shakes you to your core in a way that you start to question your belief system, your belief structure. And it can bring up a lot of triggers around your money story. And for me, it did. A lot of my money issues over the years have consisted of like feeling like the child, feeling like the dependent, feeling like I couldn't be successful because if I did, I wouldn't need my dad. And if I didn't need my dad anymore, he would die, which is like a whole other conversation. But there has just been so many things over the years that I've had to really face and heal. And so much of being an entrepreneur is shadow work. I really do believe that. I do not believe you can have a successful multi-6, 7-figure, 8-figure business without facing yourself and facing your shadow and getting to know your shadow and really learning to love your shadow, which involves a deep level of healing and self-awareness. So I've been very committed to that over the last year. And over the last year, I've just been focused on that. Like heal your trauma, focus on your, rewriting your money story, heal your subconscious mind, reframe your thoughts, continue to serve your clients, continue to put out content, stay consistent in your mission, and it's going to work out. I just knew it. Like deep down in my sacral, in my intuition, I knew that it would all work out. And I had no idea how. And if I thought about the how, I got very overwhelmed and I got very scared and I would block money from coming in. The months that I was the most scared and letting my fear of lack like really slow me down, those were my lowest months in business. Those were the months that was the month that our builder got fired. Like one of our, the superintendent of our build got fired and the house sat for a couple months with no work being done on it. Like when my energy dipped, and I stopped being focused on the present and just focused on what I was doing now, it slowed my ability. It like blocked the ability to receive more. So when that happened, it was a really great wake up call to go, why am I so triggered? Why do I feel like nothing's going to work out? Because I had plenty of proof, like my whole life, when I've really wanted something and I just focus on what I'm doing and kind of stay out of the noise and I kind of like stay in my lane and keep moving, everything works. Everything works out. But in the moment, you get very scared and you get very nervous. And so what I can tell you is if you're a person who's like, I want to invest and I want to hire a coach or I want to invest in that program, Danielle, and you've been kind of dancing around my offers over the last few months, what I can tell you is that it is scary because you're not going to get the return on investment immediately. It's going to feel a little shaky and it's going to feel very much like the unknown in the beginning. And the reason for that is because you're doing something you've never done. You're going somewhere you've never gone. And so of course your ego is going to be afraid of that. Of course your subconscious is going to be afraid of that because you've never been there. And the lesson is you cannot control the how. Okay. You cannot. And you just have to rely on what you can control. And what you can control are your actions and your thoughts. What you can control is how consistent you show up. What you can control is how you continue to sell every single day and the way that you continue to live your life and teach those lessons. Like that is what you can control. And that's really what I've stayed very true to. And now, as we're about to close on this house, all those fears I had about like not having enough reserve money in the account to show that I am prepared for a rainy day and all the other things that the lenders want when you close on a home, those fears are absolutely out the window. I mean, y'all, I was like prepared to do whatever I had. Like I literally like had a friend on standby and was like, listen, if I need you to like put money in our account, like, will you? Like I was prepared to ask for help from our family. We were prepared to do whatever we needed to do because we really wanted this home. But all of those moments I realized were so silly because at the end of the day, my intuition would not have led me to building a custom home during a recession and crazy inflation when interest rates are through the roof if it wasn't meant to work out. Your intuition does not lead you in the wrong direction. So if you have like felt the pull to one of my programs, like let's say it's The Reckoning. I know a lot of you are really pulled toward The Reckoning, but you're really afraid of investing $888. Listen, you would not have come to the offer, you would not have found the offer if your intuition was not guiding you there. And I promise you, your intuition is never going to lead you down the wrong path. Ever, ever, ever. No matter how scary it gets, no matter how much you question everything, your intuition will never lead you down the wrong path. And the quicker you realize that and the quicker you follow that, the quicker big things start to happen. It's so insane to me because I was so afraid of like not having enough for this house. And now like there is way more than enough in my accounts. There's way more than enough money. Money is not the issue at all at this point. Like, and that is something that I could have never imagined. And if you would have asked me or told me that a year ago, I probably would have been like, yeah, but how? So don't focus on how something is going to return to you. Don't focus on, the nitty gritty of the investment. Just ask yourself, is this something that my intuition is telling me that I desire? If the answer is yes, you got to jump. And you have to trust that it's going to come back to you because you wouldn't have been drawn to it if it wasn't for a reason. And that's a really big lesson that I've learned. I've learned a lot about investing over the last year because on top of all of that, I invested over $65,000 into my personal coaching and healing over the last year. Like big money. And that was fine. And why was that fine? Because I had done the work around that and I trusted the return. But when it comes to building a house, I didn't trust that all the time. And so I did get afraid. And so the way that you get through that though is just to act anyway. The biggest difference between where you might be and where you want to be is that the gap is you just jumping, right? The gap is you just going for it and being willing to fail. Like investing over $40,000 into a home that you're building that you know is going to appraise and become an incredible investment for your family. The jumping into that is really scary. And if you do it and you just jump, you have to trust that it's going to work out, right? And you have to be willing to walk away if it doesn't. And that was something that I definitely did. Like I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, this could all fall apart. And if this all falls apart and I end up losing this like $45,000 that I've put in so far, is it still going to be worth it? And I decided, yeah, it would still be worth it because of who I'm going to become along the way. So it's not always about the end goal. It's not always about where you're going. It most often is about who you're becoming along the way and the mindset shift that happens. Like the big mindset shift that happens. Like I was so afraid of, by the end of this, putting down like close to $140,000 towards this home. I was so afraid of that because I had never pushed that much money across the table before. And now I'm so excited to do that because I have other places in my life where I have proof that making big jumps like that really does work. So if you're in a place right now where you want to invest and you can feel that like pull inside of you, what I can tell you, the best thing you can do is to honor that and jump. It's the best thing you can do because there's no way that it could be bad for you. If your intuition led you there, there's no way that it can be bad for you. It just can't. And I'm so glad that I didn't listen to all the people that were like, don't bite off more than you can chew. And, oh, are you sure you can afford that? Interest rates are going to be really high. Your mortgage is going to be like $1,000 more than it should be. And if I would have listened to that, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in now, about to move into our freaking dream home. And with that comes a level up, right? Like I move into a house that I built from the ground up and I have this like state-of-the-art office that I've designed custom. Imagine what's going to happen to my business, right? Like this is all what we talk about inside of quantum leaping. Like quantum leaping is making big moves and trusting that it's going to come back to you because at the end of the day, yeah, is it a stretch? Yes. Will I make back all of that money within a couple months? Absolutely. So make investments that are relative to your experience. I've always invested more than where I'm at. Always. Because that's how I get to where I want to go. So think about that when it comes to investing. And I hope this was helpful. If you want to tune in for this move process, come follow me on Instagram. We're going to be pretty much documenting the whole thing. And I'm just really grateful for all of you that you've stuck with us and helped us continue to build this show. It just blows me away every day how many of you get so much out of it, and I'll never stop being grateful for it. So thank you again, and we'll be back on Friday with another episode. Love you. Bye.